Hey guys, all right, welcome back to my latest unboxing and setup. I don't think the unboxing of this is going to be super exciting, but if you saw my other video, you know that I have the NICREW HyperReef 50, and it comes with a separate LED controller, but I ordered them separate because I wanted to make sure this was going to fit on my tank. I did have to make some modifications to it. It does have manual controls, but you can't really program it. So once I realized it was going to fit and work, I went ahead and ordered the controller. So I'll be doing that. Now you might see in the background a little bit of a weird setup here. I basically have like two lids and a sponge sticking out. And if you look right over here, you'll see two little juvenile percula clownfish that have decided to host right in the corner directly in front of my overflow. And so I've had each one of them get stuck on the overflow one time. I've only had them for just now almost 24 hours. So I'm still a little worried as to whether or not they're going to make it. But anyway, so I had to put a sponge covering the overflow. They appear to be doing okay. They just will not leave that spot. So anyways, that's what's going on here. I'm going to continue to try to set this bad boy up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn around my camera, and that way you can get a closer look at this. So this only works with the HyperReef 50, 100, and 150. It does not work with the HyperReef 30, which is one of the reasons, amongst other things, that I went with the 50, even though it's more than I need, because I can program the intensity down a lot easier with this controller, and it doesn't work with the 30 watt version. So anyways, let me flip this camera around and let's see what we got in here. Alrighty, so let's take a look and see what we've got here. I was thinking it was a lot bigger than this for some reason, but I can tell it's going to be small just by looking at the box. Okay, so there it is. Super cute. Okay, I can see that it has a cover on it. I saw a lot of people online, like all sorts of people online, made these like some of the only negative reviews I've seen about this is that people are like, oh, it comes used. It comes all scratched up. And I'm like, oh my God. And then other people talk about it. I mean, I'll worry about pulling it off later, but it's got one of those protective films on it. People are so silly. Okay, so let's see here. This, I believe, is the yeah, so it's got a magnet. So this is super cool. So this is the mounting bracket. So you'll mount this where you want this. And then this is like magnetic. So this will just sit on there and then you can just pull it off and use it as needed. So that is cool. I have a place that I will be mounting that. Okay. So what do we have here? So we have, I believe, okay, so this is the hardware for mounting the magnetic bracket. This is going to be the power cable, which does not have its own separate power cord, which I actually think is good. This just plugs right into the back of the light, and then it goes to the controller. So it's powered through the light by the light's power. So I do like that. I don't have to have another plug for this. And then there's two, because I believe that they're just hooking you up because they're thinking that you might have more than one light. And so what this does is I can now connect the controller to one light with this, and then I can take this one and I can daisy chain the light to a second light. So you can control multiple HyperReef lights with this controller. And actually, I believe that you can even control other. See, where does it talk in here? It talks in here about for third-party light fixtures, plug the Type-C cable in. So it's like you can actually use this with other lights as well, but I'm using it with HyperReef. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to do here. So to get started, I have to plug this cable in. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do that. So, okay, so this is where I plugged the controller into right here. This is the output that I talked about. So if I wanted to hook this up and daisy chain a second light on, this is where I would hook that up and then connect it over here to the other light. I do have this towel right now just over the tank because I don't want to freak out my fish too much by flickering the lights on and off, which they will do. You can barely see them in there with all this blue light, but I did just get a pair of these little juvenile percolate clowns, and they're hosting up by my overflow, and I had to put that sponge in there. So I don't know. I've had them for about 26 hours, so we'll see how they're doing. But here is the controller that I want to mess around with now that I have plugged it in and got power to it, right? So there is no additional power supply. There is just the power supply that comes from the light, which is cool. Here is the magnetic mount that I talked about, and I will mount that right down here, and then I can just pull this controller back off. So let's see. I did screw around with this just a little bit in hopes that I could show you how it works. So if I press that middle button, I kind of get to what I'm going to call like the menu, and I'm currently in programming. So first thing you'd want to do is go to setting, and then you'd hit this button in the middle. You'd go to time and date, you'd hit this, and now you're inside the time and date. So from in here, you could scroll around and change the times, okay, as you can see. Or you can use the left and right button to scroll through the date. I have that all set, and I have the 24-hour time off so that it shows in regular time. And then you hit this this back button, and it gets you back to the main screen. Then you want to go in, Then you want to go scroll back to where it says program, hit in the middle, it's on quick set 1, hit that again. Okay, so now it's going to turn off my lights because it kind of goes through the program with you so you can see. So what I have is this thing has an automatic ramp up and ramp down. So you have to set it basically when to start that process. So what I'm doing is saying at 8 a.m., I want to start that ramp up process. So at 8 a.m., if I hit the middle button, here's what I want it to be. I want it to be 0 and 0. So that is set just the way I want it, okay? That's the first, you see the little button, that's the first one at 8. Now what I want is if I go to the next one, so at 9 o'clock, I want it to, so between 8 and 9, it's going to ramp up to 20 white, 40 blue. That's what I personally want, okay? If I wanted to adjust that, I would just hit this middle button. I could adjust the time. If I kept hitting it, I would keep moving down until now I could adjust the whites. Then I could adjust the blues. And then when I'm done adjusting that, I hit this kind of back button, and then I go back to the screen again. So you can see at 9 o'clock, between 8 and 9, it's going to ramp up to 20 white, 40 blue. Okay, now if I scroll over to my next time section, I want it to stay the whole day until 1800 at 2040. So I set that. Then between 1800 and 1900, at 1900 I want it to be 0. So between 1800 and 1900, it's going to take that hour to slowly ramp down to 0. And then the next one is set at 0 because there's automatically 6 times. The next one is set to 0. And then if I keep going, I'm right back to where I started at 8 o'clock in the morning at 0. And then it's going to ramp back up. And then at 9 o'clock, boop, it should be at full power. Well, what I have currently set at full power, which is 20 and 40. That's how I'm going to start my light cycle. So then if I just get out of here by hitting this button a couple times, getting back to the main menu, all the way back, boop. And now this is what I'm currently set on. Okay, so it's 5:28 p.m. So I'm still set on that schedule that you just saw me set, which is quick set 1. Okay, and I have it set at 20 and 40. So it's going to stay there, like I talked about, until it starts that hour-long ramp down period. Now, if I want to just go to manual mode, I can hit this button right here. If I scroll over to manual, that I can just set it to whatever I want it to be. So if I wanted to say, I don't know, say somebody came over to see my tank and it was set at something that I didn't want it to be at, and I wanted to crank up the blues a lot more. So what I would do is I would go over here to program. I'd come over here to mode set. And right now it's on quick set 1. What I would do is hit this, and then I would change it to manual. And then if I set manual, then I could go back into that manual setting and I could adjust the lights manually, like despite what my program was. So I could override my programming, okay? I don't want to do that. I want to stay on quick set 1. So I just keep getting out of the screen. I go back, and once again, there I am. So it appears to be working fine. I mean, I haven't gone overnight yet to see if it's going to work, but that's how you use the controller. It took a little bit to kind of figure it out, but hopefully if you go back and watch that a couple times, you will kind of see what I did. I tried to do it, kind of quickly, but to where you could see. You get an idea of how it works, how you set it. And yeah, I will give you an update. So as soon as you're done watching this video, look and see if there's a follow-up video, because if for any reason this didn't work or it doesn't turn off tomorrow and come on in the morning the way it's supposed to, because I haven't tested this yet, I just got this tonight, I will have a follow-up video. So look for that follow-up video. And if you don't see it, you know what? I'll probably have a follow-up video anyways, just to say that it is working. But if you don't see a follow-up video that says, hey, this thing didn't work, then it appears that everything I just showed you and everything that I just did worked. I think I have it set correctly. If anybody out there has any experience with this controller, has any input, please like, comment, ask questions, give information that you have, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.